Hello, whiskey ecstatisticians. Welcome to WhiskyWhistle. I'm your host, Mark, and this is Whiskey Review number 140. Now, today we're going back to the Unchillfiltered collection, and again I have to thank Hungshik, is Tong Hungshik, for this generous offer, which was the fourth of four, I guess, for now, of this Unchillfiltered collection that he has offered me. And another first for me. Thankfully, this is not a dead distillery. This is alive and well. It's Glen Elgin. So that's great. This is a Speysider. And, well, I'm going to save the introduction to the distillery for an official bottling someday. So for now, we will just get that poured and rather dusty in here. That's weird. Get that poured and we'll get on to the review, shall we? Let's do that. Almost spilled some there. All right, that's a healthy pour. That's about half. That's about 25 milliliters plus or minus. And let's have a look at the color first of all for Glen Elgin. Should I give it a whiff first? Interesting. So, color-wise, what do we have here? That's a very light gold, or perhaps, well, I think I'm going to call it a lemon gold. Now, this is all natural in color, and as the namesake suggests, it's unchill-filtered, so that's great. Glen Elgin is 19 years old. It was distilled in 1995, so quite a long time ago. There's the bottling details there. I'll just read those quickly. Distilled on the 20th of October 1995 and bottled on the 14th of the 14th of April 2015, just shy of 20 years. Boy, you'd wonder why they wouldn't just wait till it was 20 years old. I guess someone felt it was ready just then, so they bottled it. And when you think about that, isn't that great? 19 years, not as attractive as 20 years, but the fine people at Signatory Vintage, who are the we will call it the keepers of the fine whiskey that they buy from various distilleries. They're, what can I call it, the warehouseman, the master blender. It was not a blender because they don't blend anything, but the maturation master, we'll call him or her. They went in and decided that Glen Elgin, just at that point on the 14th of April, that it was ready to go. There could be other factors there, but they are doing well enough that they probably don't have to worry too much about getting the product out in order to keep the financial merry-go-round working. Now, when I smell this at the shop, at the Malt Shop in Gangnam, in Seoul, here where I live, I don't live at the shop. I almost live there, but not anywhere near, in fact. Probably a good thing. When I smelled it at the shop, the first thing I thought was, oh yeah, that is definitely a Speysider. Anyway. Anything different there, though? Let's find out. We'll have a very short advertisement right here. Welcome back, Glen Elgin 19-year-old from the Unchillfiltered collection of Signatory Vintage. I smell some spice. I smell citrus fruits. Lots of white or green fruits. White grapes. Honeydew melon. Kiwi. Gooseberry, and the like. Now, peat-wise, pretty much off the scale. Off the scale meaning unpeated, not off the scale meaning the highest. But I'm pretty sure they're using at least, you know, some amount of peat, be it 1-2 parts per million. It does give it a slightly smoky kind of a character to it, but not smoky in the peaty sense, but smoky in the I'm burning wood, I'm making a fire, that kind of smoke. Sometimes when I listen to myself, I think I'm a kind of a chameleon. I watch something and then it's like I adopt it very quickly. And I just feel like I just sort of channeled a little bit of the Donald Trump there for a minute. Anything else I get here off the nose? It's getting sweeter by the minute. And 19 years old, as I've said before, we should probably wait 19 minutes, but that I will not do. Yeah, even a little bit of pineapple creeping in here. So just think of all those fruits now. Pineapple, kiwi, gooseberries, white grape, very ripe ones. What else did I mention? I think that's all for now. I think I forgot something I mentioned, but anyway. Oh, honeydew. And the honeydew is at the peak of ripeness. Okay. On to the palate. Cheers all. Very, very best in 2017. Happy New Year. It's very light. It's very juicy. Very unassuming. More of the similar fruitiness, although a little bit more citric. A little bit lemon lime, more to the lime end of things. So a little bit of bitterness, a little bit dry, but then it's got this nice backbone of that fruit, that white fruit, fleshy fruit, soft fruit, juicy fruit sort of flavor that's coming through. Touch of vanilla, not much caramel. And being 19 years old, compared to leather, it's got slightly more of a waxy note to it. And finish, well, what do I get here? The honeydew returns. There's no citrus now. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of spice there, a little bit of cinnamon. Is it cinnamon really though? Yeah, pretty mild cinnamon though. Very nice. Let's try that with water now. We'll add in a good measure of water. Now the good news here for WhiskyWhistle, I've got all kinds of time ahead of me. I have lots of things that I'm hoping to do before I get busy again. I get busy again come March. Set that down for a minute. Let that breathe. Well, of course, there's lots of reviews coming up. So just a few of them. There's going to be a bit of Glenlivet coming through WhiskyWhistle. 15-year-old and 18-year-old, and in the form of minis. When I can, I like the minis because, of course, I'm buying the bottles, so that's really, really cost effective for me. And I did show it in a battle of the basic blended Scotch whiskies a few months ago, but Grant's Family Reserve will be featured. This is a slightly older version. I have the newer version, and then I have another Grant's that is going to be unveiled. And well, what else do we have here? The Dalmore 15. So that's coming soon. Now, if you're in Korea, what a deal I got on that. It's a liter. And in American dollars, I paid about $70, thereabouts. Anyway, the Balvenie 14-year-old Caribbean cask. Sorry if that was loud. Tomatin Legacy. Very interesting, very inexpensive, very nice dram. That's the older packaging. There's a newer one that was released at the end of last year. And then we have something really interesting here, which I'm going to pull out. Oops, not that one. So, this is a Korea-only brand from Lotte Liquor. Lotte Liquor, formerly Lotte Chilsong. And they handle this particular blended Scotch whiskey called Scotch Blue, which is made for them by Angus Dundee Distillers. Angus Dundee, so they operate Tom and Towel, and they operate Glen Elgin whiskey distilleries in Scotland. So this was really exciting. I found this again at the Malt Shop. Great place to go. It's not the only place, but it's the one I like most. So this suddenly appeared on the shelves there. Oh, there we go. There's actually a bottling date here of 2010, August 30th. So bottled quite a while ago. And this is the Scotch Blue single malt. It's normally a blended malt, but they released a single malt back then. And I've done some research. It also says here on the label, the Scotch Blue 12 years old single malt is a unique Scotch whiskey distilled in the famous Speysider region of Scotland. It doesn't actually name the distillery, but it mentions Speyside, and since Angus Dundee has only 2 distilleries, obviously it is Tom and Towel. Anyway, really, really interesting. Again, quite good value for money. You might be able to find it. You might not, because it is 5 years old, 6 years old at this point. So. Anyway, so that'll be coming up. And the nice thing about this one also, even though it is a house brand, it's actually bottled by Angus Dundee. So, in fact, it's an official bottling of Tom and Towel. It's official. It was distilled at Tom and Towel. It was bottled by the owners of Tom and Towel. And there you go. Anyway. All right, so anything else I missed there? Legacy? Yeah, good. And there's many more. There's also a package in my house that needs to be set up and used. And I've got a Spanish oak cask ready for some content. So we're going to do something slightly local, even though the cask is from Spain. And we'll see how that goes. Back to this one now. This is Glen Elgin 19-year-old from Unchillfiltered collection of Signatory vintage. And we're going to try that one now with water. First the nose. We'll have a short ad right here. Okay, welcome back. Onto the nose. Interestingly, more honeydew. More ripe pineapple, and yet a little bit of white pepper. The other fruits are still there, they're just sort of in the background. The honeydew and the pineapple are at the forefront. Cheers. ripe honeydew, pineapple, ripe honeydew, maybe with a little bit of pear, ripe pear, and this white pepper are coming through on the palate. It's very fruity. Very nice, very nicely rounded. Pretty good balance. And the finish actually is quite long now with water. Fruity, a little bit of vanilla. The spice is really now just this white pepper sort of flavor that I'm getting. Isn't that nice? A little bit of Scotch mist developing there, a little bit of cloudiness. Hard to see for you, I think, but I can certainly see it now. And I mentioned it at the very beginning, a little bit of smoke. There's a tiny little bit of this sort of nicely dried wood smoke, a nice clean log, no bark, no twigs, well dried, burning just ever so gently. A little bit of that coming through even in the finish now as well. I guess that's that peppery note. Well, this is certainly very nice. Slightly one-sided in terms of the fact that it's just covering this sort of white fruit, a little bit of vanilla, tiny little bit of wood smoke coming through. That's about all you're getting here. Very nicely made. A little bit of waxy content, waxiness to it as well. Mouthfeel-wise, the mouthfeel. Fairly light, but really, really easy drinking. So, Glen Elgin, very interesting whiskey. I would say very well representing its region of Speyside. So that's it here. Oh, we forgot the score. Let's get onto the score for this one. I think I'm going to have to take one more sip just to make sure. Now there's nothing amiss here. Well made, well aged. Very nice presentation at 46%. Unchillfiltered, all natural in color. But it's not going to make your head spin. And I've had that happen, as you know, in the last review. The second to last review, I should say. So, what is this going to get? I think 84 out of 100 is going to be a very, very fair, very just score for this one. So 84 out of 100 for Glen Elgin, 19-year-old from the Unchillfiltered collection of Signatory Vintage, bottled in 1995, August the 14th. So, again, that's 84 out of 100. Do I have a nickname for this one? Here we go. Nickname for this one is going to be Fruit and Pepper. So the Fruit and Pepper Dram from Glen Elgin. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for what's to come. There's lots to come. Make sure you subscribe. You can do that by clicking right around here somewhere. Okay? And have yourself a wonderful 2017 one more time. All the best to you. And for the Koreans watching, 새해 복 많이 받으세요.